Okay, guys, just a little roundup for you of our current Quest 37. It's Sunday the 4th of June. So, wow, what a time. It's gone really, really quick. Basically, what we've been through so far, absolutely amazing experience. As always, we've met some very interesting people. We've met some really horrible people as well, actually, along the way. And I even got pulled over by the police at one point in Norway. That's probably a story for another day, I guess. But needless to say, we started off on the 16th of May, so we left it Blighty, or started to leave England in mid-May. We're now heading towards mid-June, so it's been a bit of a long haul. It's been interesting. So we started off by staying in Clacton-on-Sea for one night, purely just to get on the ferry. And well, what can I say about Clacton-on-Sea? It's a shame. That's probably the best thing I could probably say about Clacton-on-Sea. It's just a shame, really, isn't it? It's could be a nice place, could be, but there we go. Some of the people that we encountered were rather different, to say the least. So there we are. But on the Wednesday morning, we headed and got on the Stena Line, that ferry. That was lovely. A nice little trip across. We had some inside cabins, so a little rest there. We arrived, as you know, on the maps originally onto the Hook of Holland in the Netherlands, as we all know it's called these days, Netherlands. And then we sort of trunked our way through to Velta, a place called Velta in Germany. Beautiful little place, like a little village, I guess. And it's beautiful accommodation, which we already posted pictures about as well. After that, we sort of travelled on and went to the little farm shop. And we went to St. Bartholomew's. Now, that church, as we know, dates back to the 7th century, said to have a jewel hidden in its walls. We got in, we had a little look. We could see where there was 3 particular columns. Is it in that area? Who knows? At a guess, I'd say it's probably in that vicinity of the church, inside the walls of the building, if there's a jewel at all. So, after that, we left Germany. We left Volta. And we headed up to a motel traffic centre. Now, we thought, oh my God, it was going to be like a spit and sawdust place. But in fact, it's one of the nicest places we stayed in. Most peculiar. That was in Denmark, obviously. And we stayed, it's a garage that has like rooms on the side of the garage. You've got to go into the garage and give them a PIN code and they give you a room key. So all it seems a bit sleazy to start with. But when you get in those rooms, they're better than Travelodge, to be honest, and very, very nice. We had 2 separate rooms there, one next to each other. That was lovely, just for the night, to get us onto the ferry from Hirtshals at the top of Denmark, right over to Kristiansand in Norway, to start the next part of the trek across. So the crossing wasn't too bad. It's about a 2.5 hour per se crossing, which is quite nice, to be fair. And then we went on to stay in Gustafors, as I've now, if I'm pronouncing that right, Gustafors, which is where I'm filming from now. Beautiful place, lovely lake views, woodland areas, really nice. Near enough to get to places, but far out to feel that you're in the middle of nature. So it's a very, very nice place. We had a little rest day on the Sunday, the 21st of May, and then on the Monday we went off to Carlander Church, which is quite interesting because that ties in with Princess Groa Thorstein-Dottir, one of my 32nd great-grandmothers. We then went on to Askim Church. Now, both churches are not that far in mileage from each other. One dates from the 1480s, sort of the original medieval time, and then we had Askim Church that dates from 1877, which was quite interesting. So we then went on to Rakstad Church in Norway, medieval stone church dedicated to the Virgin Mary, 1200 CE, quite nice, quite pleasant, which was good. And then we headed off back to Gustafors. So that was sort of ending up with that part of May. We also went to Hammer Cathedral. Now, that was originally built in 1152, as we know, burnt down by the Swedish army in 1567. It seems like there's still a little bit of tension there sometimes with regards to the Swedish and the Norwegians. I might be wrong, but that was my impression that I had. So, you know, they're 2 different countries sort of competing for that sort of eliteness, I guess. I've got to be honest, my original thoughts were that I would prefer Norway. In fact, I was wrong. I prefer Sweden. Sorry, Norway, but Sweden wins every time. Um, People are friendly in both places, but it's just the environment and the feel about it. Sweden is just so much nicer. So if ever you get a chance to come across, just probably just drive through Norway, and then just head into Sweden where the beauty is. To be fair, we then went to on the Wednesday, the 24th of May, my birthday actually. We went to Kolstad Cathedral, church on site since 1312 AD. Lovely, lovely little cathedral. It's a church really, but it's called a cathedral. Quite similar to Ireland, I guess, when you have these larger sized churches that are sort of transformed and renamed as a cathedral. Lovely place. We went to the Varmlands Museum. That was really interesting as well. Then we went on to Grumskirke. On the Thursday, we went to Neusmarks. Now, we went back and forwards on that road a few times during our stay over here in Sweden. Nice trek, beautiful, driving across almost like a coaster, across all the lakes and things, and all around the edging of the lakes. We did try and find Hope Cathedral in Fredrikstad, but to no avail. It's on a sort of barge, so whether the barge was out at the time, I'm not quite sure, but it's a project that they're doing that's environmentally sustainable art project symbolising the creation of hope, so they say. I haven't got much to comment on that because we didn't see it. But what we did see was a lovely quayside with some beautiful boats there, and it's just a lovely little area. Very nice, clean, tidy. I think it's one thing that I can always say about on the continent where I've been so far, is that Sweden and Norway both thumbs up, clean streets, no litter, no rubbish, things are in the right places, lovely and tidy. 31st of May, we're obviously then headed back to Gustafors, get it right, Gustafors. Thursday, 1st June, rest day, which was obviously needed after a lot of tripping. And then I'll rephrase that, it wasn't a lot of tripping, that sounds bad, doesn't it? I mean, a lot of driving around. I'll put that into context. On the Friday, 2nd of June, we went to Gothenburg. Wow, what a place. They had all the festivals going on. I've posted about those already. There was students and things waving flags out of cars and bibbing and that. End of term or end of school, actually, for the higher end of the students, when they're leaving when they're like 16 or 18 years old. So it was like the end of their schooling and stuff and going into the big bad world, or college / university, or some kind of work scheme. So lots of noise and fun and vibrancy going on there. There was a little thing going on in the cathedral, so we couldn't really go in there, but got some nice pictures of the outside. Just being there in such a vibrant area was lovely. I've got to be honest though, when you're in Gothenburg, me personally, I prefer the Haga Ancient district of Gothenburg. Beautiful cobble streets, lovely area, lovely people, beautiful cafes. Yes, I'm talking about food again. Look at the size of me. I love food. So, yes, beautiful cafes, beautiful food, and just really friendly people. Everywhere you go in Sweden and Norway, everyone speaks English. It's lovely, even if it's some broken English. And I always feel embarrassed that I don't speak Swedish, really. But it sounds like such a complicated language, and Norwegian as well. But everyone speaks English because it's their second language, so it's so lovely. Saturday, which was yesterday, 3rd of June, went to Gunnarsars Kirke Church, stone church, built in the 13th century per se. Nice grounds, again, clean and tidy graveyards, absolutely lovely. Then we went to Jarnskirke. I had a wonderful, interesting conversation with a lady there. I'm going to do a post after this video about the encounters that I feel the signs of Sweden. I'll call it the signs of Sweden. I'm going to mention it in my next book that I'm currently writing called Final Word. So look out for that, hopefully sometime this year or early next year. It's a work in progress. It's quite a heavy book, quite a lot of content, a lot of detail in there. I'm going to do a section in there about the signs of Sweden and obviously the signs of Iceland as well when we go there later on this year. So we were going to go to, on Sunday, today, Sunday the 4th of June, we were going to go to the Viking Ship Museum and then go on to Oslo Cathedral. However, I discovered at the 11th hour that the Viking Ship Museum is currently closed. They're building a brand new complex where they're going to move the ships to, and it opens sometime in 2026. Well, so we're about 2.5 years early. Whoops, big whoops on my behalf. However, that did lead us to go to the Viking Centre over near Suffolk, a place called Suffolk, which we'd already sort of brushed through before and had a nice lunch on the way through to Karlstad. So we sort of knew the area a little bit. Went to the Viking Museum, Viking Centre there. It's got the Jorvik display from York at the moment in there, which is lovely. Went around, got lots of pictures, already posted them online already, and met some fantastic people. And down the bottom, I've posted already, of the Viking Centre, there's like this little area where you can buy your own plot or whatever, or land, or lease it. You can build your little Viking hut, or have one of the Viking huts that's there, houses. And it's almost like a sort of retreat, as it were. So there were some people down there. They invited us down to go and have a chat with them. Well, my God, I was down there for about 2 hours. It's amazing talking to these people and getting their perspective on life, the universe, and everything. Fascinating people. The two that was stick in my head would be Carl, my namesake. Forgive me, Carl, if you listen to this video. I can't remember the rest of your name, but I know you're going to meet me on Facebook, as you said, and I'll get you linked in as a friend. You're a fascinating chap. He's a carpenter by trade, builds all these wonderful things, creates all these things. He's also into archaeology, so he's been on archaeology digs as well. Fascinating guy, actually. And there was another guy that sort of touched me as well that I remember, which is Albin. I think I'll pronounce that right if you ever listen to this video. Albin, great guy. He was down there, and he was very good English, I thought. He was talking about different things in Sweden, and he also was, at the current stage, was making a shield. So that was quite good. So all in all, we're now on Sunday the 4th of June. Sadly, and it is really sadly, that we're leaving Gustafors in the morning. Personally, I could stay here for the rest of my life, and I mean that sincerely. It's a lovely area. I think it's one of the only places I've been around the world so far, or across the world, should I say, and where I actually feel at home. I really feel at home here. The energy, the vibrancy, the environment, the people, everything about it just feels absolutely right. Beautiful, beautiful place. But so anyway, tomorrow, sadly we'll be leaving in the morning, and we'll be heading a 5.5, 6 hour journey, driving along down to Kristiansand again. We're staying one night over there, and then we'll be getting back on the ship to get it from Kristiansand to Hirtshals, and then we'll travel along to Vödervort in Germany, where we'll spend 3 nights in one of the apartments there, so we can see some of the churches in Germany, sort of heading on the way back to Blighty, as it were. So all in all, it's been a real interesting trip for me so far. It's our longest trip, biggest trip so far as yet. I will be posting some stuff that I've already made notes and written about the signs of Sweden, so look out for that. And most importantly, look out for my book, my little plug for my book. Look out for Final Word when it comes out later on this year or early next. Okay, guys, really good. Thanks very much.